just one word, you can the storm that's rise. Just one word, the darkness has to retreat. Oh, just one touch, I feel the presence of heaven. And just one touch, my eyes were open to see. My heart can't help but believe there's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that He can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. In just one word, you heal what's broken inside. In just one word, and you revive every dream. In just one touch, I feel the power of heaven. In just one touch, my eyes were open to see. My heart can't help but believe there's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that He can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a prison wall He can't break through. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise. Let all agree. There's no power like the power of Jesus. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise. Let all agree. There's no power like the power of Jesus. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like power of Jesus. Let faith arise. Let all agree. There's no power like the power. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that He can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a prison wall He can't break through. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. Whoa, 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 whoa. There's nothing, there's nothing, there's nothing, there's nothing. Whoa, 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 whoa. There's nothing that our God can't do.
Hi guys, it's me Cammy here from One Youth Today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I'm reading from Psalms chapter 71 verse 14. No matter what, I will trust in you to help me. Nothing will stop me from praising you. to magnify your glory. It was difficult going back to school this week. I was worried that all the schoolwork I had missed, meeting up with friends I hadn't seen in a long time, and worrying about COVID-19 and social balancing. But this verse reminds me that God is there for me in every situation, that He will help me every worry, and because of that I want to praise Him and thank Him. School wasn't that bad. I actually enjoyed it. I put my trust in God and He looked after me. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Good morning and welcome to One Church. It's great to have you here with us today. If this is your first time visiting, then a special welcome to you. And please join us on the chat. You can do that on Facebook or on YouTube. We would love to hear from you to get to know you a bit better. Don't be a stranger. So today I just want to have a conversation with you. I just want to share with you what's been going on in my heart. Now, it's not going to be a preach, it's not going to be a sermon, it's a word of encouragement. So my thought for today is pick your battles. Pick your battles. Guys, Kenny's not going to be here with us today. He's recovering from being knocked out by me. I'm kidding. See before you start to comment or pray in the chat below. Kenny's fine. He was not harmed in the making of that video. In fact, I came across that video this week in my photos, and looking back over it, I just felt as if it summed up how I was feeling. Have you ever heard the saying, pick your battles? This is a phrase that I refer to a lot with my kids. Like, if you've got kids, you will know that you need to pick your battles and you need to pick them wisely, because there are too many fights when it comes to kids. I mean, does them walking out the house dressed like a rainbow really matter that much? Probably not. Pick your battles wisely. Some battles are worth fighting for, but only you can decide which ones. Like, I've been fighting this week over how I've been feeling, like not physically fighting but mentally, fighting disappointment, this whole limbo season of you're out of lockdown but not back to normal. It's like you can do this but you can't do that. And over this season, like yourselves probably, I've picked up friendships, new ones, old ones, relationships that have grown and deepened, and I've loved that. And when life started to return, I started to slowly watch them slip away. I watched while the return to normal, the back to busyness of life, the worky commitments, started to steal that back. And you know what? I was raging, I was angry, and I was disappointed, because I thought, no, I realised that these friendships and these relationships are worth fighting for. They're worth fighting for. There are people that God has placed in your heart, and you'll know exactly what I mean or who I mean. They just, for some reason, hold a special place in your heart, and you can't shift them. You find yourself praying for them and you can't stop. Well, have you ever thought this? Have you ever thought that maybe God placed you in their corner? Maybe God placed you in their corner to pray, to be an ear to listen, to be a friend, to fight? I want to share with you this morning from Judges 7, and it's the story of Gideon's battle. Now, Gideon was a man who God sent to fight for his people. And Gideon went away and he gathered up thousands of Israelites. He gathered up thousands for an army to fight the Midianites, which was an army 4 times their size. So after Gideon collects all these men together, God says to him, "No, Gideon, you've got too many men." What, really? Too many men? Because that army's 4 times the size I've got. He tells him, "No, I want you to whittle it down," and he whittles it down to 300 men. And as if that wasn't bad enough, you know what he does next? He basically gives them a torch and a trumpet and sends them to battle with a torch and a trumpet. But you know what? Gideon did things God's way, and his small army won an impossible battle. An impossible battle. Now, I would encourage you to go and read Judges 7 for yourself. Read through Gideon's story, because there's loads in it. And if you want, you can message me and tell me what you took from it. But I took from Gideon's story 2 things that stood out to me, or 2 questions that I had. Was the first one was, what's in your heart? God gave Gideon a heart for his people. He gave him a purpose to fight for. And you know what? You only fight for what's in your heart. So my question is, what has God placed in your heart? What has he placed in your heart? That is your fight. Maybe it's your marriage, maybe it's your kids, or maybe you've got a heart for the underdog, to see justice, a breakthrough, or freedom. Where do you need to pick? Where have you put the gloves down too early? Where have you thrown in the towel? It's not time to fling in the towel yet. There are people to fight for. So my question is, what are you fighting for? And what is it that's in your heart? Do you know, I didn't actually start fighting for my marriage until it was over, which seems a bit nuts now that I think about it, but if I'm honest, then it probably wasn't in my heart to begin with. It wasn't until I had lost it that I realised that. And if something's not in your heart, then you're not going to fight for it. But it's never too late. The good news is that the fight is never over. To the world, it might have looked over. To me, it might have looked over. To you, things can look over, they can look impossible. But to God, it's just beginning. Do you know, fighting for my broken marriage didn't actually look like me confessing my undying love or shouting and screaming to prove a point. I actually done that and it didn't work. It was, do you know what, if you want a guarantee in life, a win in life, then you need God in your corner. That's the fact. You need God in your corner. You need him fighting your battles. Who is it that's in your corner? The best position that you can be in is on your knees in prayer, handing the gloves over to God. When you can't fight, he will. It's getting on your knees and trusting him with the situation, with the circumstance, with the person. This isn't you getting out the fight. Gideon could have went on and fought, and through some miracle, say he won, but the people would have been praising Gideon. But instead, God gave him 300 men, he gave him a torch and a trumpet, and they won that impossible battle. Gideon didn't win that fight on his own. You will never regret having God in your corner. Never. So stop trying to win this fight on your own strength. God doesn't want you to do it in your own strength. This is God's fight. This is his power made present in and through you. This is opportunity for God to shine. You need to hand over control of the situation and let God do the fighting. The second question that I took from Gideon's story was, what is in your hands? Gideon's army fought with what God had placed in their hands, their trumpet and their torch. What has God placed in your hands? Gideon defeated an army with what was in his hand. An army. God will equip you to fight with or for what he has placed in your hands. Like quite literally. For about, maybe it's a gift of fixing things. Maybe you've got a gift of encouragement, a gift of music, writing, speaking. Like quite literally, what is it that's in your hands? Like for a vast majority of us, it's probably, if we're honest, our mobile phones. It's glued to us about 90% of the time. So why not use it? Use it to send a text, call a friend, reach out. Maybe you've got a gift of influence. Well, you've got a platform, Facebook, Instagram, use it. To be honest, guys, we're off to a pretty good start, because you know what? Moses, he was given a stick, and Gideon, he was given a trumpet and a torch, but guys, we were given an iPhone. Like, I'm not saying that God's got favourites, but I mean, come on. Instead of focusing on what we don't have, let's focus on what we do have. God placed his people in Gideon's heart, and then he equipped them to fight with what was in their hand. He's going to do the same for you. We all have things in our hands. And God's just patiently waiting on us, using them to glorify His kingdom. So what is it? Is it creativity? Maybe it's education, freedom, opportunity? What are you doing with what you've been given? He will equip you for what He has called you. You don't need to worry about that. He will equip you for what He has called you. Do you believe that? Because to most, do you know, that battle that Gideon faced was impossible. And to most, battles look impossible. But God has this way of making the impossible possible. And you might be facing a situation right now where it looks like Gideon's, where outnumbered, where you're outnumbered by your circumstances, you're outnumbered by your debt, your lies. Maybe you're fighting disappointment, fighting fear and rejection. Maybe you feel battered and you feel bruised. And you are knocked down, but you are not knocked out. You are not knocked out. You need to know today that God is fighting for you and that He will not give up. You are worth fighting for. Do you know that? You are worth fighting for. Do you know, there are people fighting. There's people fighting for in your corner and you don't even know it. There's people praying for you. There's people declaring God's hope, God's healing, God's over your life, and you don't even know it. And do you know how I know that? Because I'm one of them. People have prayed healing and hope over my life, and I pray healing and hope over other people's life, and you are worth fighting for. God is never going to give up on you. He's never going to stop fighting for you. He never gives up because you're worth fighting for. He has positioned your heart and He's equipped your hands for your battle. He's positioned your heart and He's equipped your hands for your battle. Now it's time for you to stand up and fight for what is in your heart with what is in your hands. It's time to get up off the ropes, get up off the floor, pick those gloves back up. You are not outnumbered or out of your depth. You are not knocked out. You are better than you think you are. Better than you think you are. Let me pray for you. I pray for a revelation in your heart today. I pray that that revelation of, you know what, wait a minute, Lord, I don't need to be doing this on my own. I don't need to be doing this in my own strength when you can fight my battles. Do you know, Lord, I pray, God, that you will be the source of people's strength, Lord, that you will fight when they can't, you will carry when they can't. You will reveal the power of what is placed in their hands, Lord, and you will teach them how to use it, how to be the answer for what has been hidden in their heart for this so long. That you will make a difference in the lives of others because of the difference that God has made in your life. Amen. Now, if this word has spoken to you at all, or you want to get in touch, then you can do that through Facebook, Instagram, or One Church Scotland. I want to thank you again for tuning in and for listening, and I hope that this message has encouraged you and that you have a great week, and take care, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.